welcome to The Dirty, Episode 3. I am your host, Eric Berry. If you've read the title of today's show, you know we have a doozy for you. Before we get to that, do me a favor, follow the show at Dirty The Show on all the social media, which you should be viewing here. Also, if you want to call us and have a question, comment for the show, you can do that at 703 So Dirty. Today's guest is Mel Earle. She is a very funny comedian. She's living over there in Berkeley, California. We met when I was back in San Francisco performing, and she said on stage that she had visited a very particular place that has been in the news the last few years. And I was like, I got to get this girl on the show. Little update on me. I'm here in Mexico City. To be honest, since I have gotten here, I have not been in great health. Last time we talked, I was just getting over food poisoning. Then I ended up getting sick either from just like snoring and sleeping all the time with my mouth open when I was sick. Or another thing is the air quality here in Mexico City is awful. And I'd always heard that and didn't really think it's something I'd notice, but I like to run and go outside a lot. And I was running a couple weeks ago, like finally hit kind of like a feeling reasonably healthy. And there's these construction workers in a park just jackhammering away, cement dust flying everywhere. They're not wearing masks. And I was, I don't know, 30 feet away from them. And I think I inhaled some of that. And I actually had to stop because I started gagging. It was that bad. And then I got some sort of like mini bronchitis, or I don't know. I was coughing for 2 nights straight, no sleep. And yeah, just been very snotty. But yeah, let's get to today's show. Yeah, Mel Earle, very funny. Again, check her out, follow her, Mel_Early_. And let's just get right to it because she had a once in a lifetime experience that I'm sure she's glad she can tell that story. Not every girl who has that story can say the same. What a transition. Today's show. Weekend at Jeffrey's. So you had mentioned something on stage a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, that would be perfect thing to talk about on here.
Yes.
You had a unique experience that's not many have, and quite like newsworthy as of late.
Definitely. So my mom lived on St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands for 2 years ago. She moved. So the deal was growing up that grew up in New York City with my brother. My brother right now is 20 years old. So he's about a little under 2 years younger than me. And the deal was when we graduated high school, she wanted to move out of the city. And specifically, she wanted to move to the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. Thomas.
You know, why? I've been there, mainly on St. John, but why in particular?
So she wanted to move to a Caribbean island specifically, but COVID happened. She didn't want to move right out of the U.S. like territory or being part of the U.S. citizenship because COVID and how it's being handled. She wanted to have that backup of like the Medicare that U.S. was offering. So she didn't want to go to like a new island during the middle of the pandemic. She still kind of wanted to be in the U.S.
Right. Okay.
But it was like my mom's dream to live on a beach. And truly, she is happier there. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen her so happy.
Yeah.
But it is her climate. And that was the deal. So my brother went to college for a year and my mom moved to St. Thomas. So I was in college and I would visit her during break.
Yeah.
So this story happens when I visited her for my college break. And it must have been my junior year. I want to say it was my junior winter break. So, you know, we didn't have like the most money. Like we were living bare bones, but it was Christmas and my mom wanted to do something special because we didn't know when the next time something special we could do together as a family. So we're Jewish, so it's not like we were getting each other Christmas as presents. So for Christmas, my mom wanted to do something, like an event.
Yeah.
Something we could always look back on as a family as we were going all around the country. Because my brother was in Chicago, I was in Rochester, she was in St. Thomas.
Right.
So she brings up the idea, let's go on a boat for the day. You know, we'll go us 3 on a boat. You can like rent out boats and like a crew will take you like
Yeah.
just around. And she was able to work out a deal with locals because she knew friends and they worked out a deal. So we end up like the day after Christmas on this beautiful sailboat, like going around St. Thomas. So
Which is like beautiful, like
oh,
like crystal clear blue water, like
it was fantastic. Oh, I highly recommend visiting St. Thomas and St. John. Like people don't know how beautiful it is, and it's just amazing experience.
yeah.
So they asked us, what do you want to do? You know, when you're on the boat, the crew was like, we can take you everywhere. And it's not like we were tourists, you know, like we went to we went to the local beaches. So it's not like they could be like, let's go to where the locals go. Because we were already doing that. You know, my mom was a local at that point.
And had you like, so this wasn't like you and 20 other people, like you chartered
No.
this specifically for you guys.
Yeah. So it was my mom, my brother, and I.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that like we got like specifically for us. We just got lucky that no one else was on the boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was just the three of us. The captain and his crewmate, who was just this dope woman, and like we were smoking weed the whole time with her. It was great.
Yeah.
And my mom loves snorkeling. My mom, it's her favorite thing to do. So my mom was like, let's go to some snorkeling spots. And me and my brother were like, cool. So the first place we go is there's abandoned shipwreck, which is awesome, and we like were able to snorkel and like see it all.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time there. We didn't have, we had like an hour or two left after that. And they were like, what do you want to do? And we were like, well, what's your recommendation? And the woman looks and she goes, I feel like you guys will be into this. I usually don't recommend it to everybody because they're a little uncomfortable, but I get a good vibe off of you guys.
Yeah.
And I look around and I was like, where are we going? And she goes, do you want to go to Jeffrey Epstein's island? We're going to Disneyland! And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Did she, and she just straight up, like, she said Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Yeah.
Little St. James, is that right?
Yeah, no, she said Jeffrey Epstein. She was like, want to go his island? It's a great snorkeling spot. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, where you, because I didn't know where his island was.
Yeah.
I had no clue it was on St. Thomas. It's
I
not
didn't
on
either.
St. Thomas.
Yeah, but very close.
It's like, you can swim there. Like, yeah, it'll take you 2 hours, but it's swimmable.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, it's over here. So we start going to the freaking island because I was like, when in Rome. Like, you can't say no to that because it was right after the news broke.
Epstein's arrest last week has put the spotlight on a private Caribbean island he owns.
You have a moment where like you were like looked at your mom to see her vibe on it, or if like you would be judged for wanting to?
No, my mom was surprised I didn't know the island was there.
Oh, okay.
She was like, yeah, the island's there. Wait, where did you think it was?
Yeah.
I was like, not here, because like it was a small island. And my immediate thought was, so people 100% on the island knew what was going on.
Trump. Secrets.
Right.
Like, it is, everyone knows everyone. So that was my initial thought, was like, how do you get away with it for so long?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
I did not get an answer on that boat.
Yeah.
So
did you ask if they had ever met Jeffrey Epstein?
I did, and they were like, no, but like, you know, like a lot of rich people live on the island. Like, people own nice houses. I think it's Shaq maybe that owns a house. Some famous basketball player owns a house on the island.
Right. Okay.
And they do their own thing. So
Yeah.
like the locals are away from that, but I'm like, someone knew. So we go over to the island, and it's beautiful. Gosh, it's beautiful. Like, it paints, like, it's weird.
Yeah.
And there were other boats by the island. I think they were checking out for the same reason. But we were the only, like, boat, like, who was willing to venture and stay near the island.
Right. So how old were you at this point?
I had to be
The oldest woman ever to set foot on that island?
19 or 20 years old. Yeah, I was a little too old for the stuff that was going on.
Could you envision? I mean, obviously, you know, I'm whatever, twice that age. So from my perspective, it's all young. But like, could you envision? You're like, wow, if I was a 15-year-old girl and I set foot on, like, I would be like, hell yeah,
You would. You totally would. Like, it is like spring break, like party island. It's beautiful. Like, you would have never guessed all those kids were getting on the island. It was just paradise.
Dear God, it's beautiful.
I mean, if it's got to happen to you, if there's, nice setting.
Like, there's worse places, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I think the beauty helped with, like, I can't say how much it helped, but we were there for while, and because we were snorkeling.
Yeah.
And it felt so weird because it was beautiful. Like, they had all these amazing fish.
I want to touch it. Oh.
Hey, come back. Come on back here.
I'm gonna get you.
I want to get you.
You just would go around the coral reef, and it's like, damn, he had all this, and he had to fumble the bag.
Last we were talking, it was about how Epstein could probably throw a killer bat mitzvah on the island. No, we were saying that, like, could you see being swept up in the like grandeur of the island, because it's like, I don't know, I haven't been there, but like so majestic, or all the money and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like a beautiful, that's the suckiest part about all of this. Okay, no, it's not the suckiest part about that.
The worst part about Cosby was he was a hypocrite. And I said, I don't think that was the worst part.
But
The worst thing to come out of it.
worst thing is the ruining of that island.
Can't touch the bottom.
St. Thomas, highly recommend anyone goes and visits because it's beautiful. The people who live there are amazing. The culture there is amazing.
Can't touch the bottom.
It's a very chilled back, laid back place, but not chilled enough that everyone be like cool with what apparently went on that island, which is what's tricky about this.
Having spent time on like St. John, like I remember there was like a thing, if you didn't have a car, you would literally hitchhike, like stick your thumb out and like a Jeep would pick you up. And whoa, did you
That's so
do the thumbs up?
No, I didn't. No, I
Some, like,
didn't.
weird
That
AI whoa, hey, look at my,
wow.
that's so special.
You're all about the island. 5 star.
Yeah. But like, I remember being in like some stranger's Jeep, and like they had like a 12-pack of beer like wedged in like the center console, and it was like, want a beer?
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving, and pretty soon we're gonna be a communist country.
So there's certainly like just about anything like lawful, like that things are a little more chill and relaxed and easygoing, and kind of, what happens on the island stays on the island. And I think in any kind of island setting that I've been to across the world, like that's definitely kind of a prevalent attitude. And I don't know if that played any part in like.
I always felt like the laid back island stuff was always about drinking and driving. Like it's a very hand me the keys culture.
Hand me the keys, you fucking cocksucker.
It's a hand me the keys culture about the laid backness and the drinking.
Yeah.
I think it's laid back when it comes to drinking. Like those people know how to drink and party, and I've had such a great time every single time. I've gone home barely able to stand drinking with them. And they drink as much as me, and they hit the road.
Lois, I know how many beers I can drink and still be able to drive. I figured it out. 7. 6.
Dude, when I was on Vieques, which is like an island off of Puerto Rico, and that same trip I went to St. John, there was definitely like old, retired, kind of whacked out of their mind dudes. Without exaggeration, I think I was 22, 23 at the time. Like literally said to my friend, I'm like, oh, this guy seems like a child running from the law. So, I mean, there might be like kind of an unspoken understanding of that culture existing there. Was this your first and only time like going to St. Thomas, or you've been back like several times since?
Yeah, I mean, I've been back. My mom doesn't live there right now. I went back, like I'd been on the island multiple times, and I would spend like a good amount of time there. Like I would say I've spent like not 2 to 3 months maybe on the island in total. I visit my mom. She was the local. I was just hanging.
Yeah. What's the, apart from the Epstein thing, like what's the, just like, did you see crazy stuff in general, or like?
Yeah. Oh man, I gambled with the executive producer of The Walking Dead, and I won a bunch of cash off him. because
Nice.
it's a very, as apparently people now know from Epstein, the rich and famous do to come to the island because it's really laid back. And you can't be
Yeah.
a celebrity there because no one's going to check you on it or be annoying. So maybe like St. Thomas, it's a weird, like honestly, it's a weird place. Like, yes, things like this will happen. And obviously things happen. But for the majority, I don't know. I think child your island is a stretch. But it happens.
Literally, there's so many other countries where it's like that wouldn't even be
We have talked about this.
framed.
Yo.
I'm in Mexico right now, and here I think it's 15.
Yeah, like for all that money, you can pick up. That's how beautiful the island was. If you're wondering how beautiful the island was, it was worth to catch a charge.
That's a great selling point for St. Thomas.
That's their new tourist slogan when they invite all the true crime people.
Yeah.
So beautiful. You don't care about child sex laws when there's other beautiful islands around the world.
So you have an awesome story that you can tell for the rest of your life. You need to go back there. Like,
I'd love to go back to that island. Well, not the island, but maybe the island.
No. You one day need to bring your daughter to the island. And
It's
when I
my
was
daughter
your
at a
age-
time.
Yeah.
I will do that. I hope my kid's cool though, that they think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like if my kid's one of those who goes, "You're horrible for going to the island," or even it's like, "You can't hang with your mom." It's a little sad when you can't even hang with your own parents.
I wonder if it'll end up becoming a thing like Auschwitz or like Dachau or something where it's like this like solemn place where people go while they're like,
they're gonna run into the problem we have, which is it's too beautiful.
this is where your grandmother was unconsensually touched, and then like taking sips in between like a open coconut with fucking pina colada in there.
The island itself never gets talked about, but it's gorgeous. Highly recommend people go snorkeling there. Life-changing experience.
Cool. People want to follow you and all that. Where do they do it?
At Mel_Earle, EARLY, on Instagram.
Thank you for coming back and once again re-engaging on your fabulous story.
Thank you for having me.